Season. This is Beckman volleyball. If you're not here from Beckman volleyball, here's the door. There is assisting, but you guys look underdressed for assisting. But hey, we're here to celebrate 2019 Beckman volleyball season. We do have our front team here represented. We have the JV team, and we have the varsity. And you guys have a lot of goodies on your table, right? You can thank the board members when they're introduced. And I'm talking to the players right now. You guys, right? Say thank you, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so thank you in Hawaiian is mahalo. Mahalo. Okay? And then if you don't know what to say, you can always say aloha. Okay? So, we're gonna kick this party started. Coach Beckman, he's gonna do what's called our athletes, and then we'll have dinner. It's gonna be buffet style. We'll call the teams by teams, and so that it's not too much congestion. And after that, we will start the festivity. We'll start with a slideshow, and then the teams will come up. So the entire team will come up, and the coach will do a tribute, talk about the season. Okay? So, anyways, please enjoy, and I'm going to turn it over to Coach Beckman.
All right, can you hear me okay?
No.
It's kind of hard to tell.
No.
You can't hear me? You guys are just messing with me. Hey, thank you everybody for coming. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have a fun night. I know probably most of you are here to hear about the volleyball season and talk about our volleyball awards. But more importantly, we've got some scholar athletes that we need to recognize. I've got some things we got to say. GPAs are based on a total non-weighted scale, and it's based on last quarter. Athletes with a 3.5 GPA or higher will be recognized as a scholar athlete. Varsity athletes that letter and have a 3.5 also get that scholar bar patch that you can get for your letters jacket. So make sure you take care of that. Every year there's a mistake or two. So there's going to be somebody that's like, I had a 3.75 and I didn't get recognized. It happens. I don't know the whole process. So if you don't get recognized and you know you should, I apologize. But this is the list I've got in front of me right now. We're going to start with the Frosh team. Again, these are guys that get 3.5 GPAs or higher. We're going to ask you guys to just stand and be recognized. Okay? William Choi. Sterling Douglas, Nathan Wong, Ian Haas, Jason Lee, Kieran Patel, Carson Schweiker, Peyton Stoker, Jacob Silvestri, and Jacob Wentz. Nice job, guys. Congratulations to the All-Star guys. Let's make that a habit. Every year, we're recognizing you guys, please. JV guys, Brandon Chen. Jackson again. That would have been awkward. Tyler Cook. Connor Lee. Elijah Lee. Is he good? And Alex Botan. Varsity guys. Jake Morrison. Caleb Partita. Waleed Sadiq. Brendan Bloom and Parcels all over. Nice work, guys. Again, one more round of applause for all of these guys.
Huge learning experience for everyone. We all got better, and we all got better as a team, individually. And that was awesome to see as a coach. You can't really ask for anything more, so great job. Before I get to the players, I want to thank my team moms, Michelle and Jaya. You guys were super helpful. I don't know where you are, so Michelle, where are you? You guys organized a lot for us, and you made my job as a coach really easy, and I know you made the parents happy with knowing everything going on every week and knowing when the tournaments are and knowing when there's food. They were always well fed, so thank you so much. So we have a couple players who are not here tonight. Those two players are Christian Kim and Jason Lee. They were actually my two sophomores on the team, and they were awesome to have. They came in with a lot of skill and really helped us out, especially at the beginning of the season. So when I call your name, come over here. I'll give you a certificate, shake your hand, you know. First player is Sterling Douglas. What I really appreciate about Sterling was that he, whenever I asked him to play a new position, even if it was like in the middle of a tournament, he'd be like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And as a coach, like that's what you want to hear. It's exactly the attitude you want from a player and exactly the type of player you need, especially when something goes wrong, someone gets hurt, whatever it is. So thank you, Sterling, for that. Next player is William Troy. William took on one of the roles as our libero, and that was huge for us. His serves got really good at the end of the season and in the middle of the season, and he did really well with passing and just in general getting his feet to the ball super quick. So I super appreciate that. So thanks, William. Next player is Christian Chu. Christian was one of the setters. Setting's a hard job, especially mentally, and he really took that on, so I appreciate that. Always willing to work, even when he was having hives. Put him into the game. He had an allergic reaction, but everyone was fine. He's here. So thanks, Christian. Next player, Ronan Ginson. One of our two middles that were completely new to the game, grew a lot. You moved a lot, you got a lot better at blocking and at tipping, and it was always really exciting. You really picked the team energy up, so thank you for that. Next is Kieran Patel. Kieran was also one of the players that I kind of put in wherever, and he'd always say yes and always do a great job at that position. He got a lot better at back row and playing DS. One game he served like 22 times in a row, so that was pretty exciting. Highlight for us. So thank you, Kieran. Next player is Caden Stoker. Caden was awesome. He had a really consistent swing. I could always count on him and getting the ball over and making sure the ball was still in play for our team. Super important to be consistent on a frosh soft level, so he did that really well. So thanks, Caden. Next we have Jonathan Works. Same thing with Jonathan. We changed around his position a little bit from outside to opposite and a little bit around there. Super great at both positions and just making sure the ball is in play and making sure he hustled. So great job, Jonathan. All right, next we have Ian Haas. Ian was also one of my liberos and did that job really well. Super consistent, great platform when he passed. What I really appreciate about Ian is like the team just like picked up when you're around. You made everyone work harder. You made everyone a little bit better when you're on the court, which was most of the time. So great job, Ian. All right. Next is one of my captains. He was a great captain. He loved giving pregame always super intense, always really wanting to get the ball and to hit the ball, but also really great as a team player and getting everyone pumped up and ready for a big game. So thank you, Cameron. All right, so I have 3 awards to give out for the last 3 players. First player, again, came new to volleyball. He was one of the other middles, Jacob Silvestri. I gave Jacob the Most Improved Player Award because he was. He came in super new, and he left, a lot of blocks, a lot of kills. Obviously his height is a great advantage. But he started jumping more, and he started moving more, and getting to the ball more, and I love that. It was great to have him on the team, and really brought the front row up whenever he was in, so good job, Jacob. All right, so next is my Patriot Award, and this award I like to give to the player who I think really makes the team better in practice, in games, in hanging out, just getting everyone together as a team, and he really brought the team up with him, being such a great player. So this player is Carson Schwenker. Again, Carson was one of my other captains. He did a great job of being captain, but also he was my most consistent player on the team who killed the ball. He had a great serve, a great hit, and really just brought everyone up to his level by the end of the season. So thank you, Carson. Alright, last but not least is my MVP. This player is Nathan Nuan. So Nathan was one of my other setters, and he came to the season being like, oh yeah, I can set, but I kind of want to hit. And I was like, oh, sorry, you're gonna need a set. And the reason why, one, he's my MVP is one, because I really don't think we would have won very many games without him. He's a great setter. We played a 5-1 a lot, and he really got to the ball and was really decisive with the ball, which is exactly what you want in a setter, someone who's fast and someone who's decisive. He had really great hands, and he could kind of do whatever. He'd pass, he'd serve, he'd set. He hit when he got the chance. So thank you. You were definitely very valuable for the team. So like I said, thank you to all the parents and team parents of this team. We had a lot of fun, and I really appreciate that about you guys, just wanting to have fun and always wanting to get better. So thank you for that. Good job.
About my coach. Honestly, thank you for making the season probably one of my favorites. Thank you for actually believing me when probably no one else did. When my other coaches did, I put me front row and thank you for making me improve. Thank you for you actually got the team, and you just kind of help support us to go through all these games. If we were in a slump, you always got us out of it. If we were having trouble, just get over it and just keep moving on. And I just want to say thank you for that. You are honestly an amazing coach, and you made us an amazing team. So thank you. What's up, coach? We made it through this season with some crazy kids. You guys up here. You never really got angry with us. You just got upset. But that pushed us to work harder and bond more as a team. And I just want to say thank you.
That is the hardest for me. So, watching that video actually reminds me that talking about these guys actually isn't going to be that hard. They have a lot of energy. They have fun playing volleyball and hanging out. I know the season didn't go necessarily the way we wanted it to go, but it turned out to be really positive. The team went 17-11 overall, 8-2 in league. There were a couple games where we showed flashes of brilliance of being one of the best JV teams in the county, and then other times not so much. I mean, in the Tesoro tournament, we got into, I think it might have been the quarterfinals. We played San Clemente, who had already won the Foothill tournament, and we had lost to them in that Foothill tournament in the first round. What was it? 11-25, something like that. And in the Tesoro tournament, which was our second tournament, we ended up being in the lead 21-18, and got a really, really bad call. I mean, I was looking at the coaches behind me and looking at all the other players, and we knew that was the wrong call. Turned out to be a 3-point swing, and we ended up losing 22-25. And that just shows how good we are and the little bits of just being consistent, what we talked about throughout the season. But these guys worked hard, they competed, and they showed their resilience by first losing our first 2 league games and then ending up and just going undefeated the rest of the season. It just shows a lot of character and maturity that these boys have illustrated through the season and their growth, and I greatly appreciate them for that. Alright, so I'll go through names. So first person is Brandon Chen. Brandon is a great player. He's one of the players I wish a lot of kids would look up to in terms of how he practices. He's always looking for ways to get better. His footwork has improved, his platform has improved. I know he didn't get the time that he probably would like, but when he was on the court, as you can hear when the guys cheered for him when they saw his video, he gets his team amped up, and I'm great to have him on this team, so thank you. The next player is Luke Haas. Luke came on the team not expecting to be a setter. I made him a setter. He has great footwork, as a soccer player before, and has great hands. It just came naturally to him, and I think with a lot more work, he's going to be a great player in that position. And when we need the setter most, he stepped up and helped our team vastly. So thank you. Arnold was one of the big bombers on our team. He'd go up. He has a great vertical. He's very powerful. He was an offensive threat. He started the season a little shaky and came in with a lot more confidence, and ended the season with a lot of great confidence, blocking and hitting really, really well and effectively. So thank you, Arnold. Next player is Sean. Sean was one of the players I was very looking forward to coaching this year. He puts up a big block. His arms are long, jumps up tall. He has a great swing, and he's a lefty, which makes him very unique in the sense that there's not many lefties. He was one of our go-to guys. Devin's definitely relied on him a lot in crucial situations, and he did a great job for us this year. So thank you, Tom. Next player is Jackson Ignatic. Jackson was a DS libero on our team. He brought fire to every day he came to the court. He wore his heart on his sleeve, and you could tell, and I loved the emotion and passion he had for the sport. And played some great defense, as you can see on some of those videos. He was diving and making great defensive plays. So thank you, Jackson. Next player is Jared Irwin. I'm expecting a lot of things from Jared. He did a lot of, I did not know where to put this kid. Like, he can do a little of everything. I know he played a lot of middle before, and I had him play outside, I had him play offo. He literally was in every position possible, and he was effective in those positions. It's trying to find out what role he can fill in the future, and I think he's going to contribute a lot, and he contributed a lot this year. So thank you. The next player is Jack Pomeroy. Jack is a great player. He's a great passer, serves tough. His offense is unassuming to say, but he was very effective in finding ways to score us points. And he's just a great teammate to have on the team, so thank you. Next player is Connor Lee. Connor played DS Libero on our team. He has a great serve. He worked hard in defense and really made a lot of hustle plays. I can't say enough about how many of the guys in the program talk about this kid, and I'm greatly appreciative of him playing on this team. It's been great. Next player is Elijah Lee. Elijah is a freshman that we expect a lot from in the next few years. He played outside. He was the guy that we went to at the end of games. Elijah, when he starts being on time, when he's there, he's present, he's a phenomenal athlete, and he's going to do some great things. So thank you, Elijah. Next player is Vade Pinplay. Vade is a freshman that played middle blocker for us. If you saw in those videos, he has a great vertical and he hits a pretty heavy ball. He's going to be great in the future, and I expect a lot of great things from him. So thank you. Next player is Brian Rim. Brian played DS Libero on our team. As you can see, there were a lot of DS Libero positions, and they competed. He's a freshman and competed with all of them. He has a great tough serve and passes really well on serve receive. So thank you, Ryan. The next player is Alex Votov. Tom is another DS Libero on our team. He's a freshman. He plays, I can't say that. He puts complete effort in what he does. He's hitting the floor all the time. His serves are pretty aggressive, and once they're consistently aggressive and can play, they're going to be a great weapon. Thank you, Alex. Next player is Tyler. Tyler is one of the two returning JV players on this team. He has vastly improved through the offseason, and this season I was greatly appreciative of his maturity to be one of the leaders, though he doesn't really talk as much as I'd like him to talk. He is a defensive force at the net, and a great player on our team that led in silence. So thank you, Tyler. Last but not least, Devin below you. Devin was our setter, and he was the captain of our team. I know there's one of those players that belongs to be on a varsity team, and unfortunately that's the way things work out in our program. Is we're a very highly competitive program, and I asked a lot of this guy this year to lead a young group to be competitive, and he did that, and I thank you for that. So thank you for your lead. Alright, I have 3 awards to give out. I don't know where I will start. I will start with one I call the newcomer of the year. This athlete is explosive and a great defender. He's big and blocks high, and he made a lot of explosive plays in the middle, and that's Dave the play. The next award is called the Patriot Award. This is important to me because it demonstrates the player and athlete I enjoy coaching, but I also expect from players. This player played every position possible and did it without complaint. He showed effort on the court, and it was just yes sir and just effort. And that's Jared Irwin. And then the last award is most valuable player. And our team wouldn't run without our setter, and our offense wouldn't be as explosive and dynamic as it was without him setting the ball. So Devin below you. Alright, this is your 2019 JV Beckman volleyball team.
Yeah, so I just want to say on behalf of our team, we all want to sit next to you because you've all helped us improve our volleyball skills. You've also made us a better team.
Every coach can tell you, put your hands together and change your platform and your footwork, but not every coach can make you a better person. So thank you for that.
Sophomores, juniors, and they have grown up and matured and become great athletes, and I just wanted to tell them that I'm very proud of you guys.
Thank you, Matt.
Nice job, guys.
Thank you, Matt.
So we're gonna have the varsity slideshows, and I forgot to mention, those of you in the back, if you want to stand and get a better view of the screen, please get up and move around because the room arrangement here is not optimal for viewing. So please get up and be comfortable and where you can see.
Varsity, we're going to do things a little bit different than the first 2 groups. I'm going to call you up one by one, but you're stuck up here. So if you're first, you're going to have to be up here the entire time. Before we move on to these knuckleheads, I got to say thanks to a few people. Number 1 has to be Ruth Sawada. As far as booster presidents, and she goes above and beyond like nobody else has in the past. It's remarkable how much time and effort and energy she has put in. She complained about it a couple of times. She said, "Man, this is a lot. This is really kind of too much." But I know in the end, when you see this all come together, it's really, hopefully, it's worth it for you because this has really been an amazing, remarkable season. And I thank you so much, so much. You We'll hear that again later. We got some more stuff going on later. The entire booster board, would you please stand up for me? We'll make this quick. I know, not you, Wally. Yes, thank you. These ladies and gentlemen have put in a lot of effort and hard work. I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much. This stuff does not happen without the booster board. All of the people that help put together senior night, help put together Banquet. There's fundraising that goes on, whoever's putting together all these videos, teen moms, there's so many parents that are involved that make this thing go. And one more that I really need to point out is Sharon Comoros, where are you?
Yeah!
This is the lady that ran our snack bar all year, and she was there before I got there. Every time I get there, she's been waiting for me. It ran more smoothly than it ever has, and I'm sure it made more money than it ever has because she just put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Coaches, Coach Matt and Coach Heather, thank you so much for all your hard work. Everybody got better, teams got better. I'm excited about the guys coming up in the years to come. They've told me that they're going to be back next year, and I'm excited about it because that means we're just going to keep getting better and better every year. So thank you, coaches. All right, let's move on to this varsity group. Well, first of all, overall record as a program in league, we went 25-5 this year between the three levels. So that's pretty dominating. That's the way it should be. So that feels good. Frossoff took second. JV, we think, took second. Possibly might have even been first. We don't know what happened in the last couple of matches with these other teams. Varsity, obviously, won league for the first time. 2019. Went undefeated in league, 10-0, and just for more evidence of how dominant that was, we went 30-1 in sets. We lost one set all league season. Those of you the guys, I need you to sign that banner if you haven't already done it. Hopefully you've already done it. But that's something that's going to be up on the wall forever. It's kind of cool to think like, hey, that was me. 2019, that first year that we won league, that was me, and I've signed the back of that. So congratulations, guys, on that. Overall, 28-8 on the season. Nothing to be upset about there. Took 5th at the Tesoro tournament at the beginning of the year. Took 3rd at the Foothill tournament. Took 3rd in Hawaii. That match in the semifinals against Iolani, basically the winner of that match was going to win the whole thing. We came up just short, but that was another great finish for us. And then 3rd again in CIF. Kind of a heartbreaking loss there in the semifinals. But so many highlights throughout the season that we're going to talk about. The Tustin match was a big highlight for me. I knew kind of in the week leading up to that first round CIF match, I didn't want that match. I was like, please don't put us with Tustin. I kind of knew it was going to happen. I knew where we finished. I knew where they finished. I know what CIF likes to do. They like to keep teams that are kind of in close proximity. Obviously, that's about as close as it gets. But I knew that they were going to come out strong. They were going to come out with a lot of people. They had some extra motivation with Caleb over on our team. So they had a lot of reasons to really come over and want to beat us. And that was a fun match. That was a lot of fun. Those of you that were there, that was a home match, technically. But we were outnumbered about 3 or 4 to 1. So it felt like an away match, and we fought through some early jitters and handled them in 3. I don't know if you guys know this, but on Max Preps they have us listed as the number 23 ranked team in the country. That's it. Pretty cool. There are a couple of teams in the top 20 that we beat, so that's kind of fun to be able to say. Punahou being one of them. Punahou, for those of you that don't know, in Hawaii, that's it. Like when you're talking about volleyball in Hawaii, Punahou is it. And we actually drew them in the first round of the playoffs in that tournament, and we beat them in 3. And that was another real highlight for me, and I know it was for the guys as well. One kind of funny thing that I was looking back over the season and our record, from March 7th to May 8th, for 2 months plus, we lost 1 match. And I didn't count them up, but I think we were like 21 out of 22 matches. We were just winning. We couldn't do a whole lot wrong. We were just on a roll. When you lose one match over the course of 2 months, you probably deserve to be up in that top 25 in the country. That's where we ended up. But probably highlight of the year, that Hawaii trip, right? We all had a great time, 4 or 5 days. Amazing hotel on the beach. The food, way too much food, but really, really good food. Activities, we had some sunburns, some really bad sunburns. Jake, Muller's was pretty impressive as well. Was it Mason or Colleen that? Was it Mason? Yeah, his was pretty bad. But absolutely unforgettable trip. Unforgettable. That's something that doesn't happen very often. That's another thing that we've kind of jumped on and said, let's make this happen. So, you know, guys, one more time, if you don't mind, please give Mrs. Serrato a nice big round of applause. All right, let's get to these guys. We've got 6 underclassmen, meaning we have 11 seniors, which is a scary thought, but we'll get on. This first group of 6 guys, these are the guys that are going to be responsible for where this program goes over the next year or two. We're going to expect these 6 guys to improve in the off-season, come back playing even better at a higher level, and, you know, winning one league title is great. It's always nice to win that first one. But this group of 6 guys needs to lead and see if we can't win 2 in a row, and 3 in a row, and 4 in a row, and that's got to be the goal. So these 6 guys, you know, these are the guys that are going to have to lead us. Nico, come on up. If you were there watching us all season, you know Nico started out the season as a starter on the outside for us. He helped us win a lot of matches in the preseason. He, you know, more than held his own on the outside out there and played very well. He hits a very heavy ball. He's improved his passing. In the offseason, if he continues to improve his passing, get a little more consistent on offense, this is going to be a guy that's, like I said, he's going to be counted on next year. He's going to have to step up and he's going to have to lead. And if he does those things, we are going to be a very hard team to beat again next year. I have a lot of confidence in Nico. Thank you. Jake Morrison, come on up. Jake was a big surprise for me this year. He's obviously got the size of the middle blocker position to be intimidating, but really it's his understanding of the game. Just knowing where he needs to be. He's reading, he's reacting, but he's kind of understanding what's going to happen before it happens. And that's what really kind of eventually moved him into that starting lineup. We could use him on the right side, we could use him in the middle. Even though we didn't use him as much as a server, we did at times. There were some situations where we're like, hey Jake, we need you to serve. And when he did, he served tough, scored a lot of points, and he actually played some really good defense back there. He had a team high 15 kills in one of those league matches this year. Do you remember which one? Portola. Just dominated in the middle. Portola, by the way, is the one team that took a set off of us. So, and you know, one of the main key plays I remember was the block at 24-all in game 1 against Mission Viejo. We were starting to get back into it. We had been down the whole time. At 24-all, they set their middle. He dives into one and blocks it straight down, and that really, if you look back at it, that was what really kind of changed the momentum and helped us to win that match. I'm looking forward to 2 more years of improvement from Jake. We've talked about some ways that he can do that, and I'm convinced that he's going to spend the offseason doing it. He was second team all-league this year. Congratulations. The only sophomore that was recognized out of the entire league, so congratulations. And you know, looking forward, we expect him to be first team next year and the year after that. It's kind of exciting knowing that we've got him for 2 more full years. Thank you, Jake. Wilbur, please, Wilbur, come on up. Chris is going to be huge for us next year. Anybody that's, you know, watched us play or practice knows what an athlete this kid is. He jumps really well. He hits a heavy ball. He's improved throughout the year. We didn't use him as much as maybe we should have or could have, but I'm really counting on this kid next year. we're going to have to rely on him a lot, and you know the future's pretty exciting for him. He's really a good kid. Like, he's one of those kids that you just want to have on the team. There's never an issue with Chris. He gives it his best. He's always asking about what he can do to get better, and I really appreciate that from Chris. Thank you. Keenan. That's you. Keenan he's just got a love of the game of volleyball. Hawaiian kid, maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just grow up that's just the way it goes. It's volleyball at the top. When he was able to get on the court for the first time in Hawaii, you could just see it on his face. He was so excited to be out there. His level of play was through the roof. He was jump serving. He was putting balls away, especially against Punahou. Took some really big swings. That was a highlight for me. I hope it was for you. His jump serving all season long was key for us. It just made us a little bit more dangerous back there. And again, we talked about it, but this is another guy that can do a little bit of everything. He can pass, he can serve. He's not afraid to swing. If you were watching the video, he's undersized at the outside position, but man, he'll go up and take a rip every single time. And that's what we're going to ask him to do again next year, and be a leader for us. Thanks, Kenny. Jonah Park, come on up. As Jonah got a little more comfortable and consistent, this team really started to click. He didn't play any club in the offseason, so I thought he was a little bit shaky early on, but it didn't take long. Like, week by week, you could just see it was coming, and it was getting more consistent. I know the hitters appreciate it. His willingness to listen and ask for advice and, hey, where do I go here? I mean, that's a coach's dream when someone's like, hey, coach, I need something right now. But I trusted him completely. There were probably a couple of times in playoffs where I was like, hey, Jonah, you need to go here right now. And that's coming from coach, like, just do it. But 99% of the time, you're running your own offense. And that doesn't happen a lot in high school. When you've got a setter that you trust to go to the right place in the right situation, that's what Jonah did for us all year. I'm excited to see the next step for Jonah. He's going to have to be leading a group next year. We're not going to have the big offensive weapons that we did this year that we're graduating, but these guys that are coming up are going to need Jonah's leadership, and that's what we're going to expect from him next year. And one last thing, first team all league. By far, without a doubt, the best setter in the league. All right, Brendan, come on up. Last underclassman. This team was absolutely loaded with solid defensive players. So Brendan's in that group of guys that, as a coach, I can put in there, I can trust in serve receive, I can trust to play great defense. He's going to put a tough serve in play. If he was on any other team in the league, he'd be the starting libero, and I would be telling my team not to serve him. I would be like, let's avoid that guy because he's that good. We just had some seniors in that spot this year. So it's exciting knowing that we've got another year with Brendan. He's going to be the anchor for us. You always talk about, as coaches, we're like setter and libero. If I'm good in those two positions, we're going to be solid, and we're going to fill in with some good hitters around him. And I feel like we have all of those pieces coming back next year. So thank you, Brendan. All right, seniors. We got 11 of you. It's hard to say goodbye to these guys for a lot of reasons. Obviously, when you graduate 11 guys and it's X number of starters and guys that have been in the program for so long, like on the court, those are going to be hard shoes to fill. But off the court, I've developed relationships with all these guys. I really have. I've had a good time, except for with Waleed. But the rest of the guys have really had a good time over the years. It's the exact opposite with Waleed, he knows. So this is tough for me. It's a large group, but I love all these guys, so this is going to be tough, so I'm going to move on through. All right, Josh, Lee, come on up.
We love.
Little inside joke there. You know, every year there are guys that come in knowing that playing time is going to be a little bit scarce, but and I don't know why we laugh at that. But knowing that he wanted to be here and he wanted to be part of the team, and that we were going to get him out there when we could. And then if you saw the videos, you can see when these guys get out there, they do good things. They're not bad players. It's just, man, we've got a ton of guys that have played a lot of years of volleyball, and we've got a lot of talent. So it's rough as a coach. We make some tough decisions, but he's always there for his team, cheering on his team, especially in CIF. He's obviously very well liked by his teammates. He's always got guys around him laughing, having a good time. Smart kid, obviously. I saw it there, it said USC, but is it UCLA or is it USC? USC, nice. That's not easy to do, but I appreciate his team first attitude. That's really what it comes down to. If everybody on the team has a team first attitude, we're going to be very successful. One last thing is, well, let's see. Nick, Wayne, come on up. There's another guy that in limited opportunities got in and played really well. Sorry. Played really well with the opportunities that he got. Again, another guy that is as excited about what's going on as anybody that's on the floor. He's, you know, on the bench, on the floor, it doesn't matter. This guy was all about team. Again, another guy that just because we're so deep and really much better than everybody else this year, if he's on any other team, he's probably a starter. And that's just kind of how it goes with our league, and that's rough. Off to IBC next year, I think. Good. I'd love to see you try out. I'd love to see you make that team and come watch you play. Thanks, Nick. I love this kid. He's got a great attitude. He's always asking about ways that he can help the team. Hey, coach, we're struggling in this rotation. You know, I can get in there, I can block that guy. Yeah, you're right, you probably could. Probably should have used you a few more times than we did. He could set, he could swing, he could block for us, he could do a little bit of everything. Again, attitude, especially as we go through our CIF run, I had to tell him to chill out a few times. The refs were getting a little upset at some of the stuff he was doing on the bench, but he's into it. You know, understood that he probably wasn't going to get into the game, but was louder than every single other person out there. And I really appreciate that from him, so thank you, folks. Muller, come on up. All right, this had to be a tough year for Chris. I don't get it. I really don't. Came in, he was our returning starter from last year. So coming in this year, it would be safe to assume that would be what he would, you know, expect again this year. Unfortunately, we had another guy that stepped up and played really well in the preseason and kind of took that spot. But what stinks about it is that, like, it's not like we wouldn't use Chris. Like, the guy is a real problem offensively for other teams. If you guys watch the video, he's shoulders above the net. He jumps really well. He's athletic. In practice, at times, he would absolutely take over. So it's a nice problem for me to have as a coach, to have another guy that I could bring in at any time and expect some really good things from. Two-sport varsity starter, a very good basketball player as well. So the fact that we get him for even 3 or 4 months out of the year, I feel very thankful about, because I know a lot of these guys, that's a lot to ask of them. One funny story about Chris that I heard, it was relayed to me, so I hope this is true. Please tell me it's true, because it's hilarious. But one of our home games, I believe he told his girlfriend that the match started at 5:45 instead of 5:15, because he knew he wasn't going to start, and he knew we were going to win the first set, and he would be in there the second set. So she rolled in, and he's on the court, And as far as she knows, he was out there the whole time. He was starting his. I think it's absolutely genius. Caleb, come on up. Those of you that don't know the story, Caleb transferred to us from Tustin around Christmas time, so right after the first semester, which can't be easy. You've got some people over there that are probably a little bit upset. You've got some people over here that are really happy. But that could not have been easy, especially having to sit out for 30 days and watch his team play without him. And then once he was back, had some nagging injuries and really couldn't give it 100%. And I don't even know that you got to 100%. It looked like it as we got into CIF and he started playing like it, but I still don't know that we ever really got 100%. But whatever we got out of you was a lot, and it was something that we needed. I tried to talk him out of making the transfer. I said, man, it's your senior year, you gotta stay. But secretly inside I was going, dude, yeah, absolutely. Get your butt over here. I couldn't say that out loud. I can say it now. I couldn't say that out loud at the time. I had to do the right thing, but secretly I was pretty excited about the possibility. My favorite couple of memories, that Tustin match, number one, a lot of it was due to you, and it made us stronger, it made us better. But you came to me before that match and said, hey coach, what's gonna be my role? And I told you, and you said, what, do you think I'm scared of the situation? And I'm like, no, I don't think you're scared, but as a coach I have to be prepared for all the different situations. And we went back and forth about it a little bit, but I would imagine that a high school kid would be about that situation, and man, I've got to perform in front of all these people, and they're going to fill our gym and all that stuff, and he did. He went out and did exactly what he said he was going to do. The other one was the big block against Mission Viejo. The place just absolutely went crazy when he made that move and made that block. I know it wasn't an easy season for him, but man, he stepped up and played solid volleyball for us when we needed it. We were lucky to have him. He's going to be playing junior college volleyball next year. IVC, OCC, I don't know. Good, you better. Any team that gets him is going to be lucky to have him. Thanks, Caleb. All right, Carter, but we're going to do Mason also, even though Mason's not here. Mason's not feeling well.
No.
I'm going to give both of these to you.
What happened?
You take those. These two guys, we'll talk about them both right now, are the type of kids that every coach loves to have. They're in the gym long after practices are done. We couldn't get them there on time. He'll blame it on Mason will blame it on Carter. They would come to our girls' club teams practices and help out. They would jump on the court over the previous years. They just never wanted to leave the gym. They just absolutely loved the game. They are the two best pepperers you'll ever see in Beckman history for sure. They go all out. If you guys watch these guys pepper, they're going after it. They're jumping, they're taking full swings, they're hitting each other in the neck, in the face. But the ball's up and they're chasing the ball down. It's just, whatever it takes, that's the kind of attitude these guys have when they play. Over the course of the 4 years, they played maybe every position except for middle. We had libero, we had, Mason played a little outside. They both played libero, DS. Carter stepped in and set for us this year, which was much needed, and he did a great job there. These guys can do it all, and we wouldn't have been the team we were without these two guys. I'm so happy that they're going to be continuing, their playing careers. They're going to go to IVC, I believe, last I heard. That's a number of guys that are going over to IVC, so that should be a lot of fun over the next couple of years, so thank you guys. Waleed. One of the funniest kids I've ever coached. I try not to laugh because a lot of the stuff he says is very poorly timed and inappropriate most of the time. But it's impossible not to laugh at some of the stuff he says. His teammates appreciate his sense of humor. There's always a group around him laughing. Usually, again, inappropriate times, laughing like they were over here. But when you're a good team, you have to have fun. And these guys definitely have a lot of fun, and Waleed's kind of at the center of that. I've said many times that when Waleed plays well, the team plays well. He's a key. And unfortunately, when Waleed has a bad day, the team seems to have a little bit of a bad day. And that's a lot of pressure to put on one guy. But most of the time, he was up for it. He stepped up and played great volleyball and pulled this team along with him. His best match was the first time against Northwood. And when we're going through league and you see a team for the first time, it's important to let's put a beating on this team because we know that's a team that could compete with us later on. And that was the match that Waleed played his best volleyball. He had 15 kills that night. He had 3 or 4 blocks. The other coaches in the league agreed, and he was named second team all-league as well. So congratulations. Waleed's going to be taking his D1 talents to IVC next year as well. Aman, come on up. Aman, over the last 4 years, the transformation's been pretty incredible. He's a basketball guy. He thinks of himself as a basketball guy. We keep trying to get him to think of himself as a volleyball guy. I know he was first team all-league for basketball. Oh, by the way, first team all-league volleyball now as well. But he became a go-to player for us. About the third clip of that was him coming around on a back one and absolutely blowing the ball up. That's one of many. He did that a lot for us this season. A lot of quality blocking, and that got a lot better throughout the season as well. With Aman, you can't really tell if he's having any fun. Like that. He'll blow a ball up, we'll be winning easily, everybody will be having fun, and he'll have no expression on his face. This year was better. This year we got a lot more smiling and having a good time out of him. I think it's because he's starting to enjoy volleyball a little bit more and thinking of himself as that. But it's also because he knew he was becoming one of the leaders and becoming one of the better players and felt a little bit more comfortable out there. Hearing that he's thinking about playing basketball and volleyball next year at IVC, Stanford, just confirms that he's kind of making, not the transition from basketball to volleyball, but now he's starting to see himself as a volleyball guy as well. First team all-league we talked about, gonna be really tough to fill his shoes next year. Not gonna be easy, not gonna be fun. Thanks a lot. All right, David Sawada. Finally got a haircut, looking good. There are loud leaders and then there are quiet leaders. David's one of the quiet leaders, but make no mistake, he is a leader. It looks like when you're in a match and it's intense and he's just super calm, that from the outside people are like, does this guy, what's going on in his brain? He's a killer. Like, he wants to win at all costs. He will do whatever it takes to win. But a lot of times, like I said, looking at him, you're just like, as a coach, I love it. He's just going to be calm. He's going to be the same all the time. He would come to me throughout the season with ideas on lineups and, hey, let's run this play, and this is something that we should do in practice this week because we struggled at it last week. Every single idea he had was well thought out and was right on the money. Half the time I'd be like, yeah, we're already doing that, I'm on it. And the other half, yeah, it's a good idea, that's what we're gonna do. He would make a great coach. He won't do it because he's gonna be off doing bigger and better things. He's going to Point Loma. He'll be in the med program. Some of you may see Dr. Salata down the road. Yeah, which Dr. Salata? There's how many of them in the family now? This is a big loss for me. Personally, this is a big loss for us as a program, on and off the court. First team all-league. Last but not least, Carl, come on up. Carl, his sophomore year, came up to varsity. We had a guy named Spencer Olivier on that team as a senior. And immediately the comparison started. Everybody started asking me like, is Carl better than Spencer was as a sophomore, or vice versa? And to even be mentioned like that, because, you know, Spencer's one of the best players to ever come through here. He's at Long Beach State now. To even be compared to that as a sophomore is a huge, huge honor, right? That feels good, but at the same time, that's got to be a little bit of a pressure situation for him. I think it wore on him a little bit early on, but guess what? If you went down the list as far as skills, it's, you know, I've coached them both for 3-4 years. It's so close, and Carl's better in certain aspects of the game. So, you know, Long Beach next year is getting another good one. He led us in kills, he led us in blocks, he led us in he just did it all. There's really not a whole lot more than you can say than that. He played sick. There was one day he had 102, 103 fever, showed up and played, we needed him. He had to be tired all the time. His shoulder must have been ready to fall off numerous times because we just set him so many balls. Had to be hurt, but again, never complained about it and just said, hey, give me the ball. I want the ball right now. I can't say really enough about how much he's grown over the last 4 years. Next stop at Long Beach is not going to be easy. He's not going to walk right in and take over. But I think he's got the skills, I think he's got the work ethic, and I think he's got the desire to compete with all those top guys on a top team and take one of those top spots. League MVP, not even close. One of my most memorable seasons, for sure. The group of guys that we put together, the parents that were involved, how far we went in the playoffs, the trip to Hawaii. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, obviously, you win a CIF title, you don't forget that. You have a season with this many memories. These are the kind of things that these guys will remember forever. And it's, you know, it's sad to see it end, but give these guys one last round of applause. All right, guys. What are we doing next? Oh, I got awards. Totally forgot that. Most improved player. I talked about it a little bit earlier. A guy that surprised me early on in the season, became a guy that we could go to in big situations, and our setter, you know, began to trust him. There were some times I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. I don't know if that was the decision I would have made, but when our setter trusts him and he puts the ball away and makes some big key blocks for us, Jake Morrison's our most improved player. Patriot Award. Like Matt said, this is one that means a lot to us as coaches. It's someone that demonstrates all the characteristics that we like to see in a volleyball player. He's a leader. He's an athlete. He does everything that you ask him, and he asks you what he can do to get better. Jonah Puck. Leadership Award goes to our quiet leader. That should be a clue as to where that's going. David, come on up. And if anybody has any question as to who the MVP is, you have not been listening. Carl, come on up. MVP. Come on. There you go, one last time. Varsity guys, 2019.
All right. So we have a few words for McVeigh. Obviously, pretty great season, but great coach, great guy. We would like to thank Coach McVeigh for being a phenomenal and influential leader this year, as you have played an implemental role in developing and nurturing just a typical group of guys into a formidable and close team that we could have never imagined us being this way earlier in the year. Although it's a rarity to have a coach who can also be seen as a friend, you've been a close friend to all of us on and off the court all the time, regardless of the volleyball being played. Congrats on a record-breaking year, but don't worry, with a coach like you, you have nothing to worry about. Also, a few words. So, thank you, McBain. You've been such an amazing coach for me and my teammates. It really shows through all of our accomplishments over the years. There are a lot of things to name, but in my opinion, the biggest accomplishment is winning league for the first time. So thank you, Coach. We had a lot of fun this season.
I have a bad feeling I know what this is. I know, that's the clue. Very cool, thank you. That was a great day, that was a great trip. Thank you guys.
Okay, guys, stay up there. At this junction of our program, we have a tradition at Beckman that we do tributes, right? So, who gets the mic? Right. All right.
So, I have David and Waleed, so I'd like to start off with David. So, wow man, time has come. Starting a new chapter in your life. I would always like to thank you for being a brotherly figure to me. And you taught me so many things throughout the season. That I've been on varsity, like on and off the court. You know, when it was off the court, you helped me with girls. You know, on the court, you always helped me with my technique, and you always taught me how I could be a better player and a better teammate. So, gonna miss you. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Mr. Sadiq. Dude, wow, man. We go way back to freshman year and your sophomore year. It's been an honor to play with you, man. Throughout all my, 3 years, I was on JV my freshman year. We were both on there. Varsity teams, baby, let's go. Okay, just thank you so much, bro. You're a really special dude. You really helped me when I was like with everything on and off the court. You're just a very special guy, and I'm truly gonna miss you a lot, bro. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Alright, so yeah, that's it for me.
So I have Chris and Carl, and so Chris may be the only one in Hawaii who could compete with me for the worst sunburn. My whole back was red, but at least I didn't have a handprint across my stomach for the rest of the day. I've been fortunate to have played basketball and volleyball with Chris for these past 2 years. I've been graced by his presence for all 4 seasons. Hope you have fun in college and keep lying to your girlfriend about when the games start. Carl's the only person who's ever made me feel short. Of course, he also can't fit on an airplane seat. He's very good at volleyball, if you haven't noticed. But he's also a fun and awesome guy to be around. Have fun at Long Beach State.
he's not here. So. And Nick, I've known him since when we played in JV together last year. We met at Open Gym, and he's honestly such a great guy. He's really helpful, and no matter whether he's on the court or off the court, he's always just a great teammate and a great player too. Knowing him ever since freshman year is really great, and we've had a lot of fun together.
Alright, so first I'm going to be talking about Aman. So, yeah, this is my first year on varsity, and one of the most fun teammates to play with was definitely Aman. Like, even though he didn't really celebrate, like, for like 90% of his hits, I don't think I've ever played with someone that made me like jaw drop after a kill as much as he did. So that was pretty fun. And you know, playing with so many seniors was kind of tough, not gonna lie, but Aman was just really kind and he always helped me out with everything, so thanks for that. And yeah, I'm gonna miss those monster kills of yours. And so now with Caleb, after this season, I can confidently say that I've learned the most from Caleb out of anybody on this team. Like, I feel like not only as your volleyball ability, I really respect it, but like your work ethic and the way that you look at things, I really look up to it. You have a way to, like, you just always desire to get better, and it's something that I kind of want to achieve for myself. I always remember how one day after the Tesoro tournament, it was a weekend, and I went to the gym really early in the morning, and I felt like big stuff, like I was, you know, getting swollen. But then I got there, and Caleb was already there earlier than me, so it's pretty fun. And yeah, it's really fun playing with you, Caleb. Thanks for everything.
Alright, so I have Parsa and Josh. Parsa, I love you, baby. You're a beast. The season has been super fun playing with you, and I'm just gonna miss chilling with you. You and Josh, like in the nights in Hawaii. And thank you for stepping on my head when I was sleeping and almost killing me. Slow is lucky to have you next year, dude. I'm gonna miss you, bro. Alright, and now I have Josh. Josh, has been great playing with you for my 3 years on the program. I'm glad we got to know each other much better in Hawaii. And again, I'm going to remember our late night conversations, Life Force. Seeing how well you do in school motivates me to work harder in school. And I'm sure you're going to do great at USC next year. I'm going to miss you both.
Okay, so I had, I believe, the luckiest draw. I had Carter, obviously, and one thing I like about Carter is that I not only got to see him on the volleyball court, but I also got to see him outside of that in school and in academics, and I got to learn a lot about Carter through volleyball, whether I was teasing him about his height because I'm finally taller than someone, or whether he was parenting us on the bench to try and not get yelled at by the refs during SAF. And one thing that I didn't know about Carter is that, aside from being a great volleyball player, is that he's always interested in science, mainly in space and space exploration, and that's what caught me off guard. Because if you just say anything about space, he'll just bring up random facts about supernovas or something about black holes, and it's so funny to see him debate in physics. And it's been an honor to be able to meet Carter and be able to spend the rest of those 3 years together at high school, and thank you, man.
Beckman varsity.
I had a big vision for this year, and I have to say that it far exceeded all my expectations. And so we have a lot of people to thank for that. But before we do that, we have just a little bit of unfinished prizes to give out. If you can all remember back when we were doing the stack fundraiser, you remember that seemed like such a lifetime ago, but it was a new fundraiser for us, and I just thank you all for participating. And we had 3 kids that just did a phenomenal job in bringing money to the program through that, and actually for themselves, because we did the 50% 2-year donation as part of that program. So I wanted to make good on our recognition of our 3 top stack race fundraisers. Number 3, Alex Bota. Number 2 is Connor Lee. Number 1, Nick Morrison. Thank you, those boys, and to their families and parents for contributing to our program that way. And then also, do you guys remember bingo? Oh my gosh, we lived through bingo. That was such a big event for us. Huge fundraiser, a big success. And we have some bingo ticket salespeople to recognize for top sales beyond the minimum that we were asking everybody. Aman Soma was one of them. Top bingo seller, David Sawada with 18 tickets. So. Okay, so it takes so many volunteers, as you all know, to run this program, and we have had a phenomenal year. And thank you, all of you, for participating. We were always able to get the volunteers we needed. Thank you so much. Some stand-ups. We've already talked about Sharon. Thank you so much for the snack bar. On the video, Andy consistently would be out there taking the video. We also had Susan and Johnny. It's not an easy job. You have to stand there with the whole game, and then they have to go home and like upload the whole thing, and we all get to benefit. I know the coaches watch and the kids all watch, so thank you so much for doing that. Team photographers, Johnny again and Juan Bota for the JV team. This is one of our exceed expectation things for this year. We have a yearbook this year for the first time. And I need to thank Corey. Where are you from that? She had the idea. Basketball did it, and then she produced the whole thing. And I have to tell you, she donated it to the program. So you can all thank her for her Okay, and then we had amazing team parents this year. I didn't have to do much for the other teams this year because we just had amazing team parents that took care of everything. For Frog Shop, we had Jaya Ginson and Michelle Haas. And Michelle Haas did double duty. She also did the JV team, and Kathy Cook. And for varsity, I ended up doing most of the organizing for that, but there's a person I just want to give a special recognition to. This person is the kind of person that no matter what I'd ask her to do to help me with, she would do it, and would just be that person I can say, well, what do you think about this spirit wear, or what should we do to get people to help us with CIF and all that, and that person has done this for me for 4 years. I love her to death. She's like the most distinctive voice in our audience, and that is Yolanda Stenberg.
Yeah! Woo! Woo!
I love the boys a lot, but she's right up there with me. So, thank you to you. Okay, now our board. Like I said, I had a big vision for this year. I wanted to do our Adidas uniforms. I wanted to go to Hawaii without breaking the bank. I wanted us to win league. And we did undefeated through league. And here we are at Tustin Ranch having our banquet. We have a yearbook. There's just so many things. And I'm just so grateful for my board because they believed in all my crazy things and were just right there the whole time. We really had, there was 5 of us, so we really didn't have a lot of people. And so that's just a testament to the amount of work that they put in and just their just love for the program. All of us, we just did it because we just love the program, we love the boys, and I think we're just like bonded forever because because of this experience. So thank you so much. And we just recognize them. They can stand up. Our co-VPs of fundraising, Diana Colleen and Brenda Lee. Secretary Susan Lee. So long time contribution. Thank you so much. So I think that's all she wrote for 2019.
I'm hesitating to do this. We have a gift for Ruth. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but in about 30 seconds, she's going to embarrass the crap out of me. So we're going to do this anyway. She absolutely deserves all of our thanks. The program got together and got you a gift. It is nowhere near enough what you deserve for all the hard work you put in, but it was just our way of saying we love you and we thank you for everything that you've done.
I just love you guys. You guys are just great. Darren, it's been 10 years. Love you. Thank you for letting me embarrass you. Don't get me back too bad. All right. Are we almost there? Wait, let me do my business. I have more business. All right, so that's it for 2019, and we are looking forward to 2020, and so we have some business to do. I would like to propose a slate to you for the board for next year. I'm very pleased that our two members that have non-senior parents have re-upped for next year, so that makes me feel good that they still want to be part of it. So I'd like to recommend to you Brenda Lee for president. Susan Lee for secretary. Okay, treasurer Kathy Vota. Co-VPs of fundraising Corey Morrison and Kathy White. And co-VPs of activities Sonia Wilbur and Akpala Valodia. Make this official, so all those in favor of the slate, say aye.
Aye. Malo.
So this is the Aloha Banquet, and Aloha you say as hello and goodbye. So Aloha 2019 and Aloha 2020.
Malo.
We're going to close with some memorable experience. And, we've known Matt, just clarify, we know Matt, 9 years? He was his first coaching year for JV for my older son, Jonathan, and so we're going to miss you too. And hey, the new board, please take care of this man, Darren, good friend.
Yes, thank you.
And we love you, man.
Hey.
This was last year. That's not me.
normally you guys egg them on, but Danny kept you from doing it.
Yeah, I'll go back.
So, sorry we couldn't get video of Darren being the third jumper, but he almost wanted to go back. So, but at any rate, thank you everybody, mahalo. And this is a great season. You guys made it, you guys made it, you guys made it. It's all about you. And, you know, keep on keeping on, do your best, right? You know, definition of success that John Wooden said was that you know that you believed and you know that you've done your very best. And because that's the definition of success. So take that with you. And I think Warriors and the they're still playing.
No, Warriors won.
They won? Okay, so hey, it's all good. Oh, and you know, varsity team. Last request from me. You know, pictures. We're gonna take a team picture with the banner. Okay, so we're gonna raise the banner. I think Coach G-Way is gonna put it up. You guys sign the back. We're gonna get you guys lined up here. You're gonna hold it, and we're gonna take a picture. Is that okay, Coach? Yeah. And then we have a parting gifts for the seniors. Right? So if you don't mind, varsity, and then the rest of you guys, we still have time. We finished in record time. I hope this was enjoyable to you, all of you, as it was for us.
Tight, guys, tight. One, two, can I get another chair? One, everybody look up, smile, teeth. Does that mean to you? You know what I'm talking about? Congratulations, gentlemen.